Good morning, everybody. And apparently, according to StreamYard, it says I'm live. Hey, Bruce. And so I'm just going to get started a little early. Still not sure exactly what time I'm going to be able to schedule this regularly. I'm thinking 8:15 might work. I had a previous obligation from 8 to 8:30, but that seems to have changed somewhat. So that's what we're going to go with for now. And stay tuned. Be like water is seems to be the way I live my life anyway. Hope you guys are okay with that. So anyway, wait, let me just copy one more link here. Indulge me back there on YouTube. I invited some people to join on the stage, whether they do or not. I'm not really sure yet, but over the weekend I'll kind of get that tightened up as well. Whoops. Okay. All right. So quick recap of yesterday to just gain a little perspective here. And as I'm sure most of you who are watching this are aware, we're kind of stuck between these two major gamma levels at 6,000 and at 5,900. The 6,000s had been sold mostly, creating a positive gamma for market makers, kind of a stall. Lately, there have been some buyers there locally. By locally, I mean like the 0 DTE or the 1 DTE, and then there's some sold further out, and that all has to be balanced out. But suffice it to say, those are the big levels. And we'll look at them a little more granularly in a minute. So, what happened yesterday? Yesterday, we missed 6,000 by like 20 cents or 50 cents, whatever it was. Kind of stalled we were supposed to. Came back. We were kind of in this chop range that we talked about all day. And then at around 2 o'clock, 2:30, the whole Trump Tesla thing started heating up. And I'm sure everybody heard about that. Ah, there's my boy Punklandia. Ran, I'm going to add you to the stage in a minute. I'm going to add you now, and you'll be able to comment when you like or share your Mancini chart, whatever you feel like doing. This is my former partner in crime. This is my former partner in crime and current partner in crime, but we've kind of gone and done different things. Um,
Can you guys
so,
hear
yeah.
me?
Anyway, I can hear you, and I hear you echoing through my speaker as well. I'm not sure what to do about that.
Me neither. Yeah, I
Okay, no,
wanted
that's
to.
better. That's good. That's good. Now it's normal.
Okay, hi guys. Yeah, just wanted to say a quick hi and maybe drop. I can't seem to drop the link for the Mancini chart, but just a few quick words. We use Mancini levels that you're welcome to take a look. I'm going to drop the link in the Discord, and then you can just copy paste it because I can't type in here for some reason. But
Okay.
yeah, just wanted to say not much change from yesterday. Not much change from yesterday in terms of levels. Of course, we had the Elon Musk drama, and that we all know the story. But it all depends on data. But the levels I'm looking at are, of course, the 75 ES here, which was the first bull target. If you look at the chart, if we are bullish, I got a bunch of bull targets all the way up to 60.47 ES, which could happen every day. Downside targets, we of course have the 5950 ES and the good old magnet at 5025. Look for FBDs for breakdowns. If
In
you
the
don't know,
future, I'll set it up so you can share your chart. I'll walk you through that. In the
yeah,
meantime, you'll just kind of send it to me, and I'll send it out there. And he Rand used to be my partner in crime with ICs, but now he's joined the dark side and he trades futures like some of you crazy people.
yeah. So what I do is basically I look for the good old bear trap, the failed breakdowns, scalping ES. We had actually the best FBD day here yesterday. If you're looking at FBDs only, so
FBD is failed breakdown for those not familiar with the Mancini stuff.
yes, yes. Sorry, I should have clarified. If you want the documentation and all that, reach out to Doc, and I got Docs. I can we can initiate you on that. Not, I mean, this whole month we were just in buy dips regime. I don't see any change, even though with all the drama, but I guess it'll depend on the data. So I'll be looking out for the big levels and looking out for the FBD pattern around that data, and we'll see. I mean, I'm long tiny from 59.40, so I might add or I might get stopped out. Let's see. All depends on data.
Okay, and so what we'll try and do a little more elegantly in the future is, and I do this sometimes on my own with him on our private chat, is integrate some of his levels with some of the gamma levels and come up
Yeah.
with the confluence.
Yes, and word to the wise, I still use the same levels Doc uses. I look at the options depth, zero DTE positions. I look at everything, and often you will see confluence, of course. Like Doc will say 5950 SPX. I'll say, oh, that's my FBD level on plant setup on ES. There's a reason why they don't line up, obviously. So it just depends on what you play and how you play it. So, whether it's an IC or you're scalping long, short, convexity, whatever it is, just know your levels, I think, is the most important takeaway here.
Okay, so let me get on with I'm gonna get on with the more formal part of the presentation, and feel free to jump in with a particular level if you see something, and say something if you want, if you see something particularly compelling.
I gotta just jump off for a second. I got my kids.
Okay, go.
Right back. Yeah,
Yeah.
watch the data. I dropped the link to my chart in the Discord chat. Feel free to give it to
Yeah,
everybody.
okay, cool. I'll copy and throw it in there for everybody.
And I'll see you later, guys. Good luck. Be nimble.
Okay, so that's my buddy, and I'll be twisting his arm to join. He's in France, so you never can tell with these French people with France,
That's right.
and different time frames, whatever. But anyway, I'm removing you now. Well, I'll leave you there in case you want to comment. If you want to bounce, just bounce. Actually, I'll remove you, and if you want to come back in, I'll see you.
Yeah, I'll flag you. Good luck, guys.
Okay. So anyway, that's that. So while we await, we have a couple of minutes here. So we know, quick comment about the Tesla nonsense yesterday. We managed to try to survive near this 5950 big gamma level that we were talking about all day yesterday. That was a negative gamma attractant. One of our participants kind of mentioned it when we were on the chat, when we were up around here. And truthfully, I said, nah, that's too far away, too low delta, to really matter. But then as we got closer, suddenly the delta mattered, and market makers short gamma, where customers are long that option, are attractants. The market makers hedge in the direction of the move, whether it's above or down, and accelerate the move. But once they get out of the orbit of it, then they lose their attraction power. So it's kind of a math problem. And once we got into that attraction zone, we broke 5950, and then it was all bets are off. We got down near 5900, 5920, where all the hedging flows from the huge 5900 JP Morgan short collar and other things help create this bounce back. And what we typically get when we get these bounces is we bounce back to where the market maker's short customer long gamma level is, and that was the 4050, which was where we closed. Yesterday's price action, about half, and I've done the math a few different ways, or Perplexity or ChatGPT, or whoever did the arithmetic for me, and I heard on TV, about half of that move was Tesla. Half of that move down was Tesla. And that's kind of pretty much, you could say that that's what broke the level, which exacerbated the whole thing. I wrote a little note on Tesla yesterday. I'll do a follow up over the weekend. Um, what the gamma levels are, etc. And so here we are. One more word about what's going on here is when the number comes out, the unknown becomes known. So the unknown volatility that's priced into this becomes known. There's a pretty much immediate hedging response with the volatility readjustment. Thrown on top of that, you have all the algos doing their secret sauce, and you get these crazy adjustment bars. Then we open and market on open orders come in, volatility readjusts, price readjusts, and we get another set of adjustments. And then at 10 or so, we could actually maybe have a chance to see what kind of day it is. Most of you know me, or if you do, I'm typically an iron condor seller. On non-farm payroll days, I don't play. I just don't play. And we'll talk about how we might do that later on. Let's take a quick look at options depth. So this is my go-to for SPX. I use Mentor Q and Gamma Edge and other things for individual names, but this is my go-to for SPX. And what we're looking at here is market maker long. This is where we stall. And so in a normal world, and this is what like my daily plan comes off of, we're opening, we're trading right around here in this void. These are attractants. So one would expect if we open somewhere here above 50, 55, like I say in my plan, this is how I make my plan. No, I'm kind of transparent here. We're going to go up to here. We should, quote unquote. Maybe a little stall here at the 85, which was a level yesterday too. They keep hitting those levels. And we have this whole structure here between 75 and 95 that we can kind of bounce around in if it's a normal day. And then maybe we break this and we go back here. So here's where we would chop around. So again, not rocket science. So I put the chop zone at 55.95. If 55 should hold, we have the attractant and we have the two supportive levels here. If we would get over here, we have some customer longs that could pull us up. We have some customer longs that could pull us up, especially if we gain some traction. Then we have this stall feature over here. And to the bottom, if we break 40, there's really not a lot to stop us down to the 10.05, 5900 level from a gamma point of view. Now, along the way, we have 5920, yesterday's low. We have other trading markers. Oh, well, looks like the initial adjustment. Well, the initial adjustment is going to be volatility coming out of the complex. So that's why it's typically going to be up. So let's see what happens here. Let's see where we are. Okay, 59.80. All right. So now, although I typically don't like to have a position on going into non-farm payroll day, selling put spreads yesterday near the low of the day was just too tempting. So I did some, and those will be gone. They were like 58.10 or something. I saw a large trade and I followed it. 58.10 or 58.15, got like 80 cents for them, kind of like stealing, I thought. Anyway, and so let's pretend that this is going to hold and that the reaction, good morning, Flash. If the reaction is going to at least not be crazy negative. Let's start with that assumption. I'm willing to start with that. We're still within the expected move here. We're still within, all those parameters. And so now we can kind of look at this with a clear head, so to speak. Let's take a quick look at what happened to volatility, and VIX dropped. Like I said, the volatility is coming out of the complex. So that's bullish in terms of whatever long puts are there. However, volatility coming out of the calls, if it comes out, also makes it hard for you to guess over the calls. So now we have that other Greek dance of volatility coming out versus spot moving up, and how that math shakes out, we're just going to have to see. Maybe Flash is good at some of that math stuff. He has like algos and stuff. He writes computer programs or whatever he does. Let's look at the 1 day VIX. I don't think this gets recalculated until the open, so that's not really a reliable measure. And here's the VIX. That's not really moving. So I guess we're going to have to trust this. And I mean, we could see what we could see. It's obvious. Okay. Now we're starting to stall out. Let me get back to the SPX, which I'm assuming is what everybody's here for. And we'll take maybe a quick look at Tesla if we have a minute. Okay, so it's acting like it's a normal day. Acting like. So let's start from there. So then the plan that we talked about over here seems to make sense. So with volatility coming out, we already had the move that we talked about up to here, where we would normally expect a stall. And below this 85 level, these are attractants down, but they're also attractants up. So think of this as sort of the middle of a fly. Think of this as kind of a stuck zone, and we have this mess here below 40. Now looking at the heat map, this shows us, so the red is huge market maker short gamma. That's a magnet if we get close enough. So right here, it's a nothing burger magnet, but if we get close enough, if we see those deltas start to get to 10, 15, 20, then they start to matter. Right now, we see the stall is the green market maker big positive gamma level around 6,000. We see a stall at 5950. Same numbers. Again, not rocket science. We have this path of least resistance, kind of these neutral drift zones here. And if we get into the neutral drift zone, we have this 30, 25 feet for later in the day. The levels change later in the day because gamma is time dependent. As time passes, the stronger the gamma levels become. And below 5,900, there's really not much going on. Now, I looked at what the average expected move was for S&P 500, not the average realized move on non-farm payroll days for 2025 and out in time. Out in time, it's been around 1.25%, 1.5%, something like that. And for this month, for this year to date, it's been 1.29%, call it 1.3. So I kind of just did the quick math, and that put us at, if you believe the numbers, it put us at, and it's in my notes somewhere. Let me scroll and find it. Anyone got my note handy? Can tell me what I said? It was 80 on the bottom and around 30 on top, if my memory serves me well. And so those are other levels. Now, again, if it's a normal day, now you see we're starting to pull back. Let me go back to here. And like I said, I typically don't like to trade these days. These funny things happen on these days. And if there's any questions or comments, throw them in the chat. I mean, so it looks like we're just kind of stalling over here, which is good. So pretending this is a normal day, hold on a second. I'm going to do something. Now, a lot of you kind of, for lack of a better way of saying it, know me from iron condors or might be interested in trading iron condors or credit spreads. Excuse me, which is my go-to. I'll do scalps and flies throughout the day, and maybe we could talk about potential flies as well. And I'll probably come on later in the day, and we'll talk about that. I mean, first and foremost, I'm a trader, so that's what I'm doing. This is something I do to help people, and I charge for the Substack subscription, make a couple cents. I can make a lot more trading in a day. Uh, we'll lose a lot more trading in a day too. Let's. It's been a good couple months since since we got out of April OPEX. It's been kind of like stealing. So okay, so this, by the way, here is a fly that I did into July, hoping for the 5,900 market maker short. Hold on, let me stop the screen. I'm not going to type my password in for everybody to see. Not that I think anybody here would do something like that, but just okay. We're back. Okay, so what's going on here? Entire screen. Okay, here we are. So yeah, that's what I'm playing for right now. And that's just a little side thing. It's just a small one. So let's take a look at today. Options are not available for the symbol. Obviously, there's something kind of wrong here. Let's type it in again. It should come up. Okay, Houston, we have a problem. I was wanting to look where the juice was. Let me see what happens if I do this. Maybe I could trick it. Okay, well, let me see if I can figure this out. All right, I'm going to log off and log back in. I just wanted to look at the option chain rather than talk about numbers. Um, and I've got something written up about iron condors, kind of the standard way to do them, quote unquote, that a lot of people who trade them are familiar with, um, as well as what I'm going to call the McGraw method, because why not? Uh, Kind of the way I look at it, and everybody can kind of, oh, there we go. Okay. We got stuff back to normal again. Share screen. And everybody can kind of do what, hopefully that's helpful. And for people on the Substack, I'll be doing more of that. Okay, so as we're moving up, well, you guys can see we're up, I don't know, 40 points from yesterday's close, give or take. I think the easy money, I like taking the easy money, would be below 5,900. I don't think that's a shock to anyone. So I'm just going to put one of them in. If it hits, it hits, and I would manage it as a placeholder. On top is scary. 6050 is a magnet. We have a lot of OI, 12,000. I don't know how many market makers are long or short. We know, quote unquote, that OI does not equal gamma exposure. Quick explainer of that. If I buy 5,000 options from the market maker, he's short that. That's 5,000 open interest. If you sell 5,000, the market maker sells you mine. Open interest is 10,000. Market maker exposure is zero. So take these numbers with a grain of salt. That's why I use options depth, which gets their data from the CBOE, so we know exactly what's there, or as close to exactly as possible. There's some inventory that banks warehouse, where they warehouse their own risk, so we don't exactly know, but that's close enough for government work. And what do we have? 55, 70 on top, 30. So both of those are showing 30 cents now. So I would put in 40 cents and see if they get filled. I call them wish trades. A more reasonable quote unquote trade might be for people that kind of are taking risks into account. Most people like to sell a 16 delta. The 60/30 was kind of where we had some features on the gamma maps. I would look there a little above it for safety. And I see what's here on a 5 wide, 50 cents. Not terrible. And what we have here on the downside, we had features. We had 20 yesterday's low. So let's pretend we think yesterday's low will hold. Mm, not really much there as we're going up. We could probably get it coming down. So that's why I'll put one in as an IC just for fun to show you. But I would put them in real life. I would put them in separately. I would put the puts in, let's say, at 50 cents. And I would put the calls in. See, these 30 calls are looking kind of, yeah. I might cancel this trade and do, well, just throw that in up there along with it and put these in for 40 cents. Something like that. I would maybe adjust near the close. And that's what I would do. Of course, if you want to go with this semi-standard, um, 1/3 the width of the spread, you got something like that on the bottom and something like on top and on bottom. You have something like this where you can move it up to here maybe. That would be a reasonable risk reward trade, 160, 170, about a third the width of the spread. And that would be another way to trade it. So there's a few different ways to trade it. And the SPX levels are on SPX right now, right? Okay, the SPX pre-market update, let me tell you about that. So those are the numbers for the IC that I would do. I personally, as soon as it goes in, buy back 50% profit or 65% profit and adjust the 65% profit. I take it no matter what. Yesterday, good case in point. I had 60/30, 59/30 short puts. They looked like they were free when we were at 59.95. I bought them back anyway. I don't care. I don't care. Crazy stuff happens. How would I have acted? You would have acted if you were sitting there. Suddenly, you see them go from 90% max profit to 4x max loss, and we're down at 59.20. Both sides are deep in the money, and then you have to decide what to do. Or as we're going down from profit to break even to small loss, whatever, and we're catching a falling knife, but we bounce back, and it turns out it would have been fine. I don't want to be there. I've lived that too many times to want to live that again. So I take them off at 65%, 70% maybe. Usually I take them off at 15 cents. Why 15 cents, not 10 cents? Let's just say, because sometimes if there's really no bid on a far out of the money one, you're not going to get filled. If you try and close the trades at 15 cents, you'll have a 5 to 10 cent bid ask on one side and nothing on the other side, and you won't get filled at 10 cents. So what you can either do is buy back just the short at 10 cents, or just buy back the whole thing at 15 cents. If you want to move fast, you do that. That's what I like to do. I move fast. I try to be out of this crap by 11:30, and then phase two. My brother comes out with his levels at 1:30 levels, and I'll do some more. And I'll try scalping and playing flies for the rest of the day. And that's it. Let's take a last look at what's going on here. Oh yeah, let's take a quick look at Tesla just for fun. Where do I have it here? Is this going to show me that? Let's go over here. Over here somewhere. Somewhere over here. Organization. This. Oh, here we go. This was it. Okay. Let's take a look at Mentor Q. I use that stuff for individual stocks. I have discount links for both of them. If anyone's interested, or they can buy them retail, it doesn't really matter to me. If I make $11, believe me, it doesn't change my day. I just want to help people that I've been involved with, and that we've helped each other along the way. That's a product I think is good. If I think the product was good, you couldn't pay me. My principles are not fungible. Okay. So this is just a total mess here. Um, we bounced off the bottom. Now I remember looking yesterday. I did a little note on Tesla. 300 was where a lot of the puts were. I tend to be a cowboy, so I might think that a 300 something debit spread or cheap fly might be a fun way to play it. I was looking at selling a 220, 225 naked put into July. If they give it to me, I would own it and sell calls or decide what I wanted to do with it. But that's small speculative, and I'm willing to say I'm wrong. It goes to 180, and that's that. Take a loss or sell calls and use it as an ATM for the rest of my life. That's kind of the way I would look at that. Of course, I have a view on Tesla that some may agree with, some not. We're not going to talk about fundamentals, right now, and that's it. Oh, the other thing that's going on today. Oh, I still have a couple minutes to babble. The other thing that's going on today, as I mentioned, is we have the S&P rebalance. And I did an article about it. I posted it on Twitter. I might have posted it over the weekend. I post stuff kind of all over the place, and maybe over the weekend I'll get a little more organized and make sure my Twitter link and my Substack link and all that stuff is available in the YouTube. So if you find me through that, you can find me in other places. If you find value in what I say, I would appreciate shameless plug. Like, retweet, comment, all that social media kind of stuff, so that other people could see if they find value in what I do as well. Okay, so yeah, so I would do that. I'm looking to do that with Tesla. Just one contract, nothing big. Not gonna get rich or get poor. So let's go back to SPX, and let's go back to my direct, and here we are at 59.85. This has been the number. Remember, this has been the number for days. There's been the number for days. I'm not sure why institutions have been short of 59.85. I'm guessing it's institutions because it keeps showing up. And I don't know, it's really none of my business why. It's my business to know it's there and to figure out how to trade around it. So we're stalling where we're supposed to. It's acting like a normal day. It's acting like a normal day. That's tempting me to maybe sell some iron condors small and get out quickly. Now, another word about iron condors, the way I trade them. I don't put them in as an iron condor. I might put one in as an iron condor just for just to have a placeholder to see where the numbers are, what the premiums are, where I like it. I put in each side separately. Me. I also close each side separately. Me. A lot of people do the trade as a single trade. That's fine. Um, and my iron condors might not be equal. I might have 17 puts credit spreads and 8 call credit spreads. Why? Because I got filled at a level that I liked, and then spot moved around. I couldn't get filled there anymore, and so that's that. Then I might reload or reset later. Quick word about stop loss and all that. I don't use stop losses. I'm going to trade based on what I see. And if I think something is funny, like yesterday when we were up at 59.98, whatever it was, I still had some call credit spreads out of the money. I was 98% sure that those levels were good, but I was able to close it at like tiny pennies profit. I closed most of them, tiny pennies loss. I closed another bunch of them in the morning at a profit. I said, you know what? I'm going to lose 10 cents on 5 spreads, $50. Fine. I don't want to sweat. And then I reloaded later. So that's the way I do it in contrast to people that are mechanical. So it's discretionary. And that's, I'm just I'm being as transparent as I can. And that's it for now. I'm going to go see what else is going on. If there's any questions, I'm looking in the chat. I don't see them. Anybody want to join the stage and say something? I'm looking at my buddy Mark. He's not raising his hand, so I'm just going to assume he's cool. I'm not sure which Michael this is. So anybody does it, if you want to join the stage, fine. If not, I'm going to end it here. It's acting like a normal day, is all I could say. Tesla's looking a little ugly. I'm going to wait to see how that goes. This might be interesting. Oh, and yesterday I bought a SPX wide call fly, pretty much bottom ticked it. I bought, what did I buy? 59.50 or 59.75, 60.50 on top, and 6,200, whatever. I bought a broken wing fly. I might take it off today. It's going to be nice and green already. I'll see. Didn't pay a lot for the fly for the possible payoff. And flies is something else we could talk about. About your levels, at SPX update in the pre-market. Oh yeah, let me talk about that. So if you can see, I don't know how to make this bigger. It says SPX Daily. If you type in spread X in in TradingView, it'll give you the SPX equivalent of SPX based on ES movement. My buddy Rand that was on before showed me that. Good morning from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Good morning from upstate New York where my goats are. That's a whole other story. So if you type in SPX without typing the word spread X in, that'll come up. Okay. Flash has another one. He uses US 500. There's also another one that some futures traders use, and I have it in my favorites somewhere. Have it in my favorites somewhere. It's like a conversion thing here. It's called SPY SPX ES Converter. So if I added that, it'll convert them into the others, and you can go into settings and pick which ones you want to see. Let's say I don't want to see SPY. I never trade SPY. Let's just say I wanted to see ES. So here it gives me the ES conversion where we are. I see it's showing SPX at the close level. It doesn't pick up the spread X level. And I sometimes throw it on there if I want to scalp. US 500, he says, is the ticker. And so that's that. And if anybody has, oh yeah, about my trading view scripts. I am not a tech guy. That's why I have all these tabs open because I'm afraid if I close them, I'll never be able to replicate that again. Okay. Um, so there's a few people that have what I call slots. I mean, everybody seems to have them. If we just look over here, this guy, they got these slots. I don't know where they come from, gamma levels. I have no idea how they get them. Uh, I got one that I made myself by accident somehow. This one here, levels. This the one, levels. And it's got these slots. Oh, somebody else made that one. I had one that I made that has one slot. ChatGPT, or I think it was Claude, walked me through it. I think this one, levels. Is that the one that I made? No, that's somebody else's. So anyway, you can find them if somebody knows how to do that. If not, a lot of people have these out there. I shared it with a few people. I spent some time over the weekend. A buddy of mine, Dan, who is this the one that no, this isn't the one that I made. I made one also. Is this it? SPX levels? Yeah, this is the one that I made. I'm not sure how I made it. I don't know. I'm not sure how to share it with you. I'm pretty sure I shared it I made it a public, whatever, public indicator. It's called Doc SPX or SPX Stock McGraw level, something like that. And I think this is the one. Sorry, I'm not more organized, but that's what you get. This was done like late at night one night. It's called SPX levels here, but anyway, so that's in case you don't have something. If anybody knows how to do that, share it with me, share it with us, share it with the community, and have a safe day trading. It's 9 o'clock. On to the next thing. Take care, everybody. Like, retweet, share, all that good stuff.